Author Joe Tennis released a new book on Highway 58 that rolls through Southwest Virginia, connecting towns like Gate City, Bristol, Abingdon, Damascus, and Duffield. And it's also a journey of 500 miles on a road that stretches longer than the Blue Ridge Parkway. He's here to tell us about the journey along Virginia's Route 58 and his collection of true tales from the beach to the Bluegrass. Joe, appreciate you being here with us today. This is important work for you, isn't it? I mean, this is something you really poured your heart into.
Oh yeah.
Tell us about this book.
Well, this book is a second edition of a book I had out almost 10 years ago called Beach to Bluegrass. And when it was originally released, it was a little coffee table book and it had a fiddle on the front. A lot of people thought it was only about music, but it's not. And when I got a chance to come up with a second edition, I did it right after my Virginia Rail Trails book that we talked about a few months ago. I did it with the same publisher, the History Press, and I went back and I said, I called the publisher and I said, listen, I've got these great stories of Johnny Cash playing at the Carter Fold, O. Winston Link at the Virginia Creeper Trail.
Right.
And I went back to find new edges and new stories and new angles to different things.
And you've added some new artwork in there as well.
Oh, lots of those, 90 new photos and graphics and things like that. You know, explaining the offset. Why do we have the notch on the map up there where Johnson County and Sullivan County come together? Why is 15 square miles of Virginia been stolen and put into Tennessee? You know, the Waterworks War in Bristol over the Battle of the State Line, the ghosts of the Martha Washington Inn, the Barter Theater, how they used to call the restaurant that was at the Cave House Cheese Robert instead of Chez Robert. You know, there's a lot of funny stories like that.
And this is, like you said, this is the second edition of your book. Is this book like your other books that you've done?
This book here about 58 is kind of a hybrid between all the books that I've done. There's 10 ghost tales in it.
Right.
There's 58 chapters in it.
Right.
It leans more towards the history and guidebooks that I've done, like the Virginia Rail Trails, but it's also like the pictorial history books like I've done on Sullivan County and Washington County, Virginia, because it has a lot of the old pictures too. Yeah.
If you could pick one true tale out of this book to talk about to folks, what's the one thing that sticks out to you? One thing that you really enjoy telling people about when you talk about this book? One tale.
Well, just one. The one when I give a lot of speeches at civic clubs and things, I always start with the witch in Virginia Beach in Princess Anne County and how she got tied up, had her big thumb tied up to her big toe, and she was thrown in the water. If she sank, then she would be innocent in 1706, but of course she'd also be dead.
Right.
If she didn't sink, then clearly she was, you know, if she untied herself, she was clearly a witch, and that's what she did. She untied herself. They threw her in the county jail, and then Governor Tim Kaine, who's now a senator, decided to formally exonerate her and declare her no longer a witch. You can still drive down Highway 58, cross over Witch Duck Road in Virginia Beach, which should now be called Exonerated Witch Duck Road. So that's the one story. And then I also tell the story of the musical ghosts of the Martha Washington Inn and the blood stains and the strange things they used to barter at the Barter Theater. The guy that came in and milked the cow on Main Street and presented only enough milk to pay his own way. And the little girl, she says, well, honey, do you want me to save the seat next to you? And I said, just see your wife still standing out there by the cow. And he said, well, she's going to have to milk enough for her own ticket. You know, so and it went on like that. And turtles would get loose in the lobby, and, you know, and it's crazy stories, crazy stuff.
A great read, I love the pictures in this book.
Thank you.
It's so much,
Thank you.
So much fun. It is along Virginia's Route 58. And he and I were talking, if we had $1 for every mile we've traveled on 58 between us, I think we'd be rich.
Especially what you've done with football, man.
Joe Tennis is signing this book and all of his books today, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Barnes & Noble in Johnson City, Friday and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Kingsport Town Center. He would love for you to come by, pick up a copy today, and he'll sign it for you.